The scene begins aboard the USS Ranger, in the humid heat of the Gulf of Tonkin. U.S. Navy pilot Dieter Dengler and his squadron attend a last-minute briefing. The mission is clear and classified. Fly over North Vietnam to cut off enemy supply lines. Under strict orders, the squadron is warned not to share any details, not even with loved ones. To prepare, they watch a short film on jungle survival tactics, using leaves for camouflage and signaling aircraft with light reflections. Most of the crew sees the video as pointless, but Dengler, anticipating the worst, makes a special request: a secret compartment in his boots to hide his American passport. During the final briefing, their commanding officer stresses the danger of using military radios during emergencies, citing reports that enemy forces were intercepting signals to set up ambushes. It's at this moment Dengler is named mission leader. The next morning, following tradition, he and his team press their foreheads to the wall in a silent ritual for unity and good luck. For jets take off toward Laos, in North Vietnam. Once the battle begins, Dengler's plane is hit. With incredible skill, he crash lands and escapes into the jungle. Remembering the survival video, Dengler hides under thick vegetation, evades enemy soldiers, and abandons his radio to avoid being tracked. He finds an abandoned structure, steals food, and sleeps in a plastic bag covered with leaves. Hearing American helicopters overhead, he tries to signal with a mirror, but it's too late. Captured by Laotian soldiers, Dengler is taken to a village and treated like an animal, tied up, humiliated, and watched by locals for an entire day. He's dragged across fields, subjected to psychological torture, and eventually brought to the capital, where a local governor tries to force him into publicly denouncing the United States. When he refuses, he is brutally punished. After being tied up and thrown into a pit, Dengler is sent to a POW camp where he meets other captives, including fellow Americans Debruin and Martin. The prisoners warn him that escape is suicide. Unbearable heat, dense jungle, and lack of water make survival nearly impossible. But Dengler is determined. He steals a nail and sharpens it with rocks into a tool to unlock their night restraints. Slowly, he gains the group's trust. In a touching moment, the prisoners reveal how they cling to even the smell of an old can of beans, a faint memory of a distant, better life. Things get worse when the guards begin threatening them directly. But Dengler doesn't give up. With creativity, he turns bullet casings into knives and secretly stores rice every day for the escape plan. When they discover the guards' plan to kill them under the pretense of an escape attempt, Dengler decides to move up the plan by a month. The next day, the prisoners split into two groups. Dengler and Martin manage to seize weapons from the guards and attack the kitchen. They spare the guard who had given them rice. With their original plan no longer viable, they flee with food supplies, only to find that Debruin and YC have mysteriously vanished. Dengler suspects Debruin but continues toward Thailand with Martin. During the journey, they face torrential rains, lost supplies, wild animals, and even hallucinations. They build a raft to navigate a river but are forced to abandon it before reaching a cliff. Exhausted, they trek on foot until they find an abandoned village. They try to signal with smoke, but are mistaken for enemies and attacked by their own forces. In despair, they decide to surrender at the next village. Martin, too weak to continue, is killed by locals. Furious and heartbroken, Dengler escapes with Martin's shoe and survives in the jungle, living off scraps, snakes, and even insects. One day, an American plane finally sees his signals and sends helicopters for extraction. The soldiers engage with locals and confirm Dengler's identity. After being handed a chocolate bar, he's flown to a hospital under CIA watch, where they interrogate him relentlessly. Because his mission was classified, he couldn't share any details. In a clever move, his former crewmates stage a fake birthday party and smuggle him out in a food cart. Overcome with emotion, Dengler returns to the Ranger and is welcomed with applause and tears by the crew. Much like the classic Rambo, First Blood, this film, directed by Werner Herzog, tells the story of a lone American veteran battling both the jungle and the psychological horrors of captivity. Interestingly, the film is based on the true story of Dieter Dengler, and Christian Bale lost over 55 pounds to portray the role with authenticity. Personally, I wouldn't have ditched the radio. Cutting off contact with rescuers is a huge risk, but I get Dengler's tactical logic considering the risk of enemy ambushes. One moment that really stood out to me was Dengler sparing the guard who gave him rice. Even in war, small acts of humanity can make a difference. What about you? After hearing Dengler's story, do you think you'd have the courage to attempt such a risky escape? Or would you wait, hoping for rescue? Before you go, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so more people can discover this story. See you in the next video.
And I gotta tell you, it was perfect.